want to explain why this Iran deal is so horrible and why it must be defeated. First of all, Obama claims that Iran will not use nuclear bombs, but they say they will destroy Israel and the United States constantly. So who's right? Why shouldn't we listen to them? Well, we should. First of all, anyone who says they wouldn't doesn't understand Shiite theology, which requires a cataclysmic catastrophe for the 12th Imam to emerge. And Iran has figured, so what if it loses 3, 4, 5 cities in a nuclear exchange? It'll have the great honor of having destroyed Israel, which will live on in Arab and Muslim and Persian infamy, and therefore they will absolutely do it. Number two, just think about geopolitics if you don't want to think about religion. If you look at the map and realize that Iran is a fascistic, tyrannical state, and they want to continue to conquest territory, Israel is the other main regional power and stands in their way, so they'll need to destroy it, just like Persia destroyed Babylonia before, which had destroyed Judea, and before that, the Babylonians had destroyed the Assyrians, which destroyed 5/6 of all of Israel. This has been going on for thousands of years, and so why wouldn't the Persians do it? Of course they will. Now, what are the other main reasons why this deal is so horrible? First of all, every Israeli politician can never agree on anything. But on this, they're totally united, except for the Arabs in the Knesset. Every Jewish Israeli politician of all stripes, including the leftist newspapers, say this is a horrible deal which must be defeated. It's not just Netanyahu. And the only American Jewish group that supports this deal is the Iranian-financed anti-Israel group that claims to be pro-Israel that Obama organized, J Street. Every other American Jewish group realizes what a horrible plan this is. Now next, if you just think about past deals where a Democratic American president promised us that this deal would help stop nuclear proliferation, just think about the North Korea deal that Bill Clinton was so proud about signing. It didn't stop North Korea from getting nuclear arms, it helped them. Now, in addition to this, Iran is going to get $150 billion of money released. What are they going to do with that? Build hospitals? No. They're going to give it to Hezbollah and Hamas and their 80 supposed cultural centers around South America and all over the world where they sponsor the main terrorist activities on 5 continents. We're going to introduce huge conventional weapons to an already volatile region. That's what they're going to do with the $150 billion they're going to get. So Obama will become the biggest financier of Arab terrorism in the world. And this treaty lifts all limits on conventional arms sales. So not only can Iran sell arms, but they're able to buy arms, including parts for their ICBMs, which, as Netanyahu says, are not aimed at Israel. You don't need ICBMs to hit Israel from Iran. They've got other missiles for that. They're aimed for New York, and Obama's aiding and abetting them. And just think about his aides who have vested interest in this deal. Valerie Jarrett, who speaks Farsi and was born in Iran. Kerry, whose son-in-law is Iranian. Susan Rice, who has huge investments in Iran. That tells you something. And then the administration says it doesn't matter if Iran's cheated in the past. Well, of course it matters. They're going to continue cheating all the way through this. They've cheated on every step of the way. They violated every UN resolution. And they now were able to finagle concession after concession from Kerry and Obama, including 24 days they have between the time there's an announcement to visit any of their sites and inspect them until they have to comply. You can hide a lot of stuff in 24 days. And just think about all the ways Obama in other ways aids and abets jihadism by refusing to let our FBI and CIA use the word Islam in their training manuals, condemning Christianity but never blaming any event by a Muslim terrorist on Islam, saying that ISIS has nothing to do with Islam, on and on and on, while at the same time over and over and over trying to hurt and betray Israel. Now think about all the concessions that were made to Iran in here that are horrible. Iran is not required to disclose the military dimension of their past nuclear program. They're not required to disclose anything about their uranium enrichment. They're not required to dismantle their heavy water plant, or they're not required to dismantle their underground nuclear plant at Fordo. They can continue research and development on centrifuges. There's no United Nations or universal procedure now for responding to any violation that they have. And once these sanctions go out of business, which they will right away, they'll never be reintroduced. Russia's already made that clear. And so the snapback idea of Obama is just a joke. He must know it. Iranian's not required to surrender its lead-based program. It's not required to in any way shut down its 80 supposed cultural centers throughout South America which spread terrorism. It's not required to stop its inciting hatred, where you had the president of Iran just this week, while the deal was being signed, at a public ceremony where they were burning American and Israeli flags. They're not required to halt executions. They're not required to free the 4 American hostages that they still hold. It clearly cements them as a regional power. It creates a huge arms race where Saudis have already indicated that they hate this deal and they're going to try and get nuclear weapons. Egypt, Turkey, they're all going to work on nuclear weapons. And so this deal simply creates a huge nuclear arms race. Now, one of the main lines of Obama has always been, well, Netanyahu doesn't have any better ideas. He's given many ideas. And there's better ideas all over the place. First of all, don't sign a horrible deal. Congress should better veto this. And then, if you want to have any deal, you have to have crippling sanctions which force Iran to its knees economically. That's the only chance you have. Even then, it's probably not enough to stop them. But clearly, Obama has no interest in stopping them because this green lights them to have a nuclear weapon in the future. It strengthens the worst nation on earth. This is the worst nation on earth, the greatest terrorist nation. Obama just strengthened them and made it illegal, basically, to try and stop them. And now this dictator Obama is going to try and bypass Congress and go directly to the United Nations and make a United Nations binding resolution which takes Congress totally out of it, which the Constitution of the United States clearly requires the Senate to ratify any treaties. This is a horrible, diabolical plan. As most commentators have read it, said it's worse than possibly imagined. Concession after concession, they're dancing in the streets of Tehran. And people who read this, Israelis are tearing their hair out at how horrible a deal this is. Now, I know this is what we can expect from a president like this, but Congress has got to do its duty, and for all the reasons I listed, and probably more that people understand, has to be defeated. Now, I'm going to give you links to some of this analysis and sources, and I'll provide the basis of Ambassador Dermer's main 4 arguments in the text of this video below. Please help and stop this horrible deal.